But I wanted to wrap up a little bit how the day's gone. You know, this is our first conference. We have no idea what it was going to be like. We said, let's give it a swag and do the best we can and enroll as many assistants and advisors as we could and see what we can do. Actually, it exceeded my expectations. I don't know about y'all. I've learned a lot. I've gotten a lot of high-level things to think about. I got a lot of tactical program ideas that also we're going to think about that I'm going to take to my executive committee. So what does everybody else think? Show of hands, was this worth your time?
Yeah.
Thank you. So let me just give just a quick recap from my perspective. I know we all took different things out of this. You know, so we had the, the initial civil discourse panel that talked about things you can do in campus to try and teach people to feel comfortable about engaging in civil disagreement. And there are a lot of initiatives that are open to us. And I think the message I got out of that is you have to start someplace, even if it's a sliver of the freshman class, and test and find what works, and then find a way to propagate that. And that's the lesson I took out of that panel. Then we heard from the Harvard faculty, which was, frankly, for me, inspiring. The MIT experience has not been one of starting at the middle and expanding out. You know, it was nice to see how Harvard had done that. And I think it's a model that other campuses can learn from and adopt. Then we had the ad hoc working group talking to us about recounting how they made the sausage, which was a little illuminating. But, you know, it was clear, it was clear from the time they took and the volume of that report that there was a lot of thought that went into it. But when you listen to these gentlemen explain the nuances and the compromises and the depth of analysis they went to, it was admirable, and you can see why the product ended up being as good as it is. But there's a challenge because they came up with a statement and they understand that's not enough, and what are the mechanisms to make institutional and cultural change, and that hasn't been answered yet. The panel of the AFSA schools was also interesting. You know, every campus is different. It sort of drove that home. Everybody has multiple paths that they can take to try and improve support for freedom of expression on their campus. It's clear there's no silver bullet. In our group so far we haven't found it, right? Collectively in AFSA. And the sobering perspective, which I think Jenny made, is that this is a 30-year journey. Okay, this is not going to happen overnight. The problem didn't happen overnight. The solution is not going to be overnight either. And then I can understand why these are two of the premier universities in the world. Look at the people that they bring in. I mean, Yep. They're real topics. You made that clear that there are things that are still you just can't talk about with just anybody. The other thing I heard that was interesting is that too many disagreements are viewed as moral issues rather than the intellectual issues, which they really should be, and that stops us from having dialogue. I took away a thought about finding ways to get alumni to be more interactive and connected with the students. There's an opportunity there for both of us. And the university can do a little bit more to provide a little bit of guidance to incoming students than they do today. And then, of course, I'm not going to skip over the wonderful talk we had from Glenn after lunch. It was insightful, it was candid, it was provocative, and, you know, they used to talk about speaking truth to power. You know, Glenn's speaking truth to the new people who think they are the new power. And he was pretty direct about that. And then my other takeaway was he's very concerned, and he certainly heightens it for me, about the warning of where the consequences of anti-racism campaigns can take the country. And that was sobering as well. But I know you all took different things out. There was a lot of stuff here that we heard about, all great ideas, all great people contributing. I want to thank you all so much for participating, both in being here, asking thoughtful questions. Those of you who were part of the panels, thank you for that as well. And with that, now I'm going to let us all go off to have our own conversations in a more lighthearted environment.